So, hello again, officially, also to everybody who's watching this later. And I am very excited to have a guest here with me. And most of you know Bryony as she already facilitated a session for us last year. Hello.
Hi.
Bryony is a embodied movement facilitator, combining a number of different modalities into her work, working with individuals as well as groups. And she also offers her work at Little Yoga Space, my studio in Lisbon, which is how we know each other. And anything to do with somatics and embodied movement is my kind of cup of tea anyway. So we, I think, clicked right from the start. We kind of speak the same language. And Bryony has been going through the process of really putting her work out there over the last few months, which is basically what we as facilitators and space holders have to do. It's like that work behind the work piece that we're talking about the whole time. There is so much more than like becoming the most incredible teacher, therapist, practitioner, body worker, voice coach, whatever. There is so much more to do behind that work so that people can even find you in the first place. And so that this can be your work. This can be for sure done in many, many different ways. By no means are Bryony and I suggesting that this is the recipe because we haven't really got one. We keep trying and working on it. It's an ongoing process. I don't think this piece of work is never finished, and we keep refining it. But yeah, we wanted to basically give a little look behind the scenes and have a conversation. I'm going to ask Brian a whole bunch of questions about her recent process. And I've certainly been through this process around really identifying, okay, what do I want to stand for? What do I want people to know about me? How do I want that to look? What are my actual offers? What am I like? What's the package? What's the deal? How can people even work with me in the first place? And how do I make that visible to the world? And I don't know about everybody here. I think you've all done some part of that to some degree, more or less, for longer or shorter, all good. But I think we probably all agree that there is quite an inner process as well as the outer process of all of the logistics and everything else that's involved with it. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about both of that, really just give a behind the scenes, not a kind of this is how you do it. So we're not going to teach you anything. We're just showing you a case study, basically. And then don't do what we do. It's probably the best recipe. I don't know. I've decided to host this kind of webinar this month because well, not like specifically for this month or anything, but I've had my coaches do this with some of their work and then invited even the people who did some of the things for them, like, like, I don't know, their Instagram strategy or their, I don't know, like how to create their introduction workshop and basically just had like opened the doors and, okay, like here, have a look. This is kind of how we do. This is the spreadsheet. This is how we've done it. This was the thinking behind it. This was the work involved. And so it wasn't about teaching us anything, but just letting us have a look. And I found those sessions so helpful because there's always little ideas and snippets. I'm like, but also just knowing that everybody else feels the pain, like, because this process is not really that easy. So it just made me feel better. So I thought actually that's a really nice format to bring here also into this space. So I want to kind of really shut up and Bryony, do you want to maybe just introduce yourself a little bit and so we can know a little bit for those of you who don't know you?
Sure, sure. Hi, everyone. Um, like Kat said, I'm Bryony, and I've been a freelance, self-employed embodiment practitioner now for a little over a year. I was always running workshops and yoga classes around my full-time job, which was I've had many different kind of jobs, and I was always doing my creative work, which I class this as, alongside that until last year, and I was able to um, make that jump into being a self-employed person and really focusing on this. That is a whole nother conversation around work, and that's very big as well, because now it's kind of I'm like, okay, I think I also need to have some supplementation in there as well. But basically, I teach yin yoga primarily, and a vinyasa and somatic movement education. So my background is in contemporary dance as an undergrad degree. Then I went on to do a master's in somatic movement education, and was running workshops in Manchester, in the UK, where I'm originally from. But I was also working with neurodiverse kids as well at one of the art galleries in Manchester. So I was doing inclusive dance for children, and I've always really been interested in um, dance and movement as creative expression. And then I started my yoga journey in Lisbon with my teacher training, although that had been kind of a practice that I'd done for many years. But then I really realized there was a connection between the kind of the embodiment from yin, when you go into that space of a lot of kind of focus on bodily sensation, and the places we can drop into in somatic work. And I realized that there was a link here, and this is embodied movement practice, and shifting our state of awareness into the body. So then I decided that I wanted to teach yin and also continue with my somatic work. And then most recently this year, I've done my Reiki level 1 training, because what I also realized is movement is energy. And I realized that I would like to combine a kind of moving meditation with my Reiki practice and offer that as well as an offering. So now there are kind of three stems of embodied movement. Um, I know Reiki traditionally is laying down and you're very still, but I do believe that the body wants to naturally move with energy. So I'm kind of in process of uh, experimenting with what that looks like from a movement perspective. And then last summer, well, actually for a long time, I've been thinking I really need to make something that incorporates my offerings in one place that people can see, and that I really need to get myself out there. So I decided it was time to change the name of my movement offering, which I'd had since 2016, 2017, so almost 10 years. And then with this kind of newfound, uh, yeah, awareness of this movement practice, I thought, okay, I'm gonna put myself out there and offer these three movement modalities. So I thought it would be really good to make a website. So that's what I started to do, and I just published it last month. So yeah, I live in Lisbon. Well, I live outside of Lisbon. I've been here for 5 years now. And I teach mostly at Little Yoga Space, and sometimes at in Sintra as well. So yeah,
Well, firstly, congratulations for doing a website. I happen to
thank
know
you.
how painful that is and
Yeah,
what a beast that is, what a project, and you learn so much about yourself in that process. Mm, so in a way, I guess, I mean, you had all of your offerings. That sounds all quite, quite good. I just wonder whether there was something in particular, like a point or like a doubt or what created the shift that you said, okay, it's time now that I put all of this under an umbrella and also under a brand, under like a different name, because you also
yeah,
changed the name of how you're putting things out there. Like,
yeah.
was there something missing or was it incomplete or what created the shift?
I think what created the shift was quite attached to my personal journey with my work. I felt like there was a natural evolution of what I was offering, and I really wanted to be clear on the embodiment of it. So the embodied movement practices and having these kind of three stems under one umbrella. And I think a lot of it as well was to do with, yeah, there was a shift in I'd had this name, Mossa Movement, which was a name I came up with, yeah, almost 10 years ago when I was in Manchester. And I'd kind of outgrown what that was when I started because I say just doing, I mean, it was important stuff, but I was doing creative movement classes for people who just wanted to move their bodies, and it was contemporary based. It
Mm,
wasn't so much somatic, but that's how it started. And then when I started my training, I started to weave in the somatic work, and then after a while, yeah, I was like, this. I've changed as we naturally evolve. My work has shifted into something else,
mm,
and it had gone from kind of encouraging creative movement to really um, supporting people into the felt sense of the body. So that
yeah.
was really key. It was really like a shift from actually this goes a bit deeper, and
Mm,
my role here is to support people
yeah.
on that journey into the body through these different movement modalities.
Yeah.
And the other part of it was I am an independent practitioner now. How am I going to show myself in the world? And what do I need to do? And that was a huge thing for me because I do still have a lot of, um, I don't know if they're like issues, but visibility. Like, how comfortable am I in showing my face
Mm,
on the internet? How do I get people to come to my class? Because obviously the other thing is you want people to come to practice with you, and so that's the whole marketing side of it as well. And also putting yourself out there in the public domain. Like, how do I show myself, and what is the message, and what do I want that to look like?
yeah.
So yeah, and I'm still working on that. I'm still figuring that out. But
Yeah.
it's what's out there now is what I believe to be a very true reflection of who I am. And the other thing is, I'm sure all of you will resonate with this, is that um, my job doesn't define who I am, but it is massively connected with my identity. You know, it is really part of what I put out there in the world, what we put out there, and who you are as a person. So it's highly personal as well. So it's a bit like here I am, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's like it's quite a process. And I
Mm,
mean, this is you say like, it's just like it's a bit of a process of actually having your photo, out there on the internet so people can see you and being visible in this way. I think that's a really big deal for people. And I keep saying, I've got to see your photo. Like, I keep preaching this because I mean, in all honesty, I will not book anything. I will not spend any money on you unless I've seen your face. I want to see who you are. I need to know.
yeah.
My nervous system needs to know that you are a real person. It's so important. And even though it's just a still image and, la la la, and we've maybe put a little bit more makeup on and made us look a little bit nicer than, we might normally walk around on a day-to-day basis when we spend the day in our PJs. Nonetheless, I want to get some vibes from that. And also, like the care that you've taken when taking those pictures, the context, what we can see, I get an idea about your work, and that makes it more trauma informed. That makes your marketing more
Mm,
ethical. It makes your marketing have more integrity. It is so important, like to me, really important the visuals. And we put some photos together to have a little bit of before and after the photo shoot. just to give some insight to that. But what you're saying about this kind of whole process of outgrowing, in a way, what you've put out there before, like, so you've put a
Yeah,
name out there, and this is the umbrella that I'm operating as, and then you evolve, and then you've
yeah.
outgrown that. And that actually causes a whole bunch of issues in a way, like your communication gets confused. Um, like the messaging is confused. Your point of view and your offerings, like the whole thing, like even how you put that on your website, the navigation becomes really complicated and it just causes confusion at some point. So there is a real, it's not even just about the fact that it feels like I've outgrown it and I want to go deeper in what I do, but it has an actual impact on how people can engage with me if
Mm.
we don't grow that along with our own growth. And that poses another issue for us. The conundrum I find is like, okay, but when is the point, when is the point that I've officially outgrown it now that I need to go to the next evolution of things? And then also, like, do I now create something that already gives a little bit of scope for extra growth? Or do I now stick with what I'm doing? Is this it? Because I don't really want to be doing this again next year. This is too much work. So you have an ongoing conundrum of like,
Mm.
am I doing this? Am I doing that? Okay, great. Now I've finally got three pillars. Last year, I went through this process of, relaunching my website, and it was such a relief to create these three pillars of this is what I'm working. Finally, I've got clarity. I paid somebody to give me that clarity because I couldn't even see it. And now I'm a year on and I'm like, okay, oof, is this still too much? Is this really clear? And you're constantly evolving and it is a conundrum. But if you let that conundrum hold you back from then taking that step, you're like, then that's the worst outcome, like, so I think we've got to keep working at it. So therefore also it is never really finished. But it takes quite a lot to then go to the next evolution of how we put things out there, but already building in the scope for growth or anticipating that potentially, unless you are like, no, this is it, and then just get really strong on it. But even my marketing coach, who is so strong in what he does, he keeps evolving too. So he keeps rebuilding his systems. So I'm like, well, that's okay then. Because, if
Yeah,
he's the expert on this and he hasn't got this kind of finalized either. So I feel much better about it. So this is something that we've just got to know from the start. I think sometimes people go into this a little bit blue-eyed. They think, okay, I'm just going to build this website and then it's kind of done. It isn't. It's the beginning of it. So I kind of, yeah, want to kind of put that out
yeah,
there
absolutely.
as one thing. Um, I mean, was there, I mean, did you get some support in the process?
I Yeah, I did. I got some support kind of part of the way through. I went I went ahead and got as far as I could until I asked had to ask for help, which asking for help is something that I've not always been great at doing. So this has also been a really good learning curve in recognizing the people around me who have different skill sets and utilizing them and being like, hey, I need some help. Can you help me? And luckily, within the circle and the network um, at Little Yoga Space, um, I can mention names, can't I? It was Michelle's who helped me as she used to be a developer. So we had two sessions. So I got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I'm at a point now where I need a bit of direction. Because the other thing was I was doing this for the first time completely, like I'd never built a website before and I didn't want to use AI and make it in one day, which I know is possible, but I really don't want to use AI at all. So it was taking me, I used Squarespace, that was the platform. And there are a couple of other ones around, but that was the one that was recommended. And I got to a certain point, and then I asked Michelle to take a look. And straight away, she was like, "You need this, you need this, you need this." And I was like, "Okay, I had no idea that I needed those things. So thank you for telling me." So we left that meeting. It was maybe an hour and a half meeting, and I had a list of things that I needed to do. And then I worked on that for a couple of weeks, and then I gave her another shout, and we had another look. And then it was more about kind of the aesthetics of it, the formatting, what does this look like? That was very, very helpful. So we had two kind of, I would say, two bigger, 1 hour and a half meetings. And then right before I was about to publish, it was like a quick run through of everything. But I really, really did need a second pair of eyes on that. And then since publishing it, I've sent it to friends. Some of my friends in the UK that work in more of the online marketing field have given me feedback, and just sending it out to friends here in Portugal as well, being like, "Tell me what you think. What do you think of this? What do you think needs improving?" But it's really interesting because someone's always got something different to add, and some people really like visuals, and but that's been really, really helpful. And what I realized was that it is like a living, breathing thing. Like I need to put energy into that now, and it needs to grow and evolve. And you're right, it is a constantly changing thing. There is a platform there, it is a base, but I know that hopefully over the years, like I had big ideas of like, you know, meditation videos and links to other things, and like a library of like books that I've read that have really helped me. I would love to do that. I would love to do a blog. um I've just thought of one at the moment that I would like to write about. And I thought, God, that's all stuff that could potentially go on there, and that could be a resource for people as well. So, but I know that I have to start very small and simple, otherwise you get a bit overwhelmed. So at the moment, it's pretty simple, but all the information that needs to be there is there. And then I'm just going in and tweaking it as I go, really. Um, so yeah, I did get help, I did get support, which was great. But I was also pretty proud of myself for um, I I really took my time with it. And it was something that had been in my mind for such a long time, and then finally actually like making it into a tangible thing that you
Mm.
can see now. Like that was in my mind and now it's there. That was the most enjoyable bit for me, to be honest, was to see it visually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
like,
and I
yeah.
got help with the logo as well. So I have a friend who's a tattoo artist, and um she's done some of my tattoos, and some of them have quite specific meanings. So I met with her, and I described to her the whole feel of um, what I was doing, my work, and the name that I decided to rebrand as, and she came up with this design. So I also had help with the logo, and that feels really important as well because she was very much able to connect in with me about what I was trying to get across, and I hope that that comes out when in the look of it, So yeah, I got help with that as well, which was great.
Nice.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, I had like a business back in London. It was called Yoga Gestalten, and I made like a little flash website, and it was really just about getting all of the information out there. Then I moved, and I was like, no, let's rebrand. And so then I decided, okay, I want to have a logo, and you pay a designer, and you get like a something comes alive, and you have, you actually have branding, and try to get a little bit of consistency in. And then it was Hadadi Thai Massage. Um, .com, a new website, and there was already then a little bit what you were saying. I also want to offer, I want the website to do more. I don't want it to just be like the information, but I wanted to also, offer some videos or like just more. I want people to be able to sign up through it and have a blog and like a bunch of different things. But then I definitely outgrew that brand. and with just everything that I'm doing. And I realized, no, I really want to go out there and be my name, you know, like for my name to be my brand.
Yeah.
And that was a big step. And that felt really vulnerable and really scary and really was almost like a process of going through therapy, really, to be honest. But I don't think I really would have got this clarity, and if there hadn't been somebody else listening to me for 4 hours and distilling that and really like pinning it down and then coming back to me. And then she said, okay, well, you're doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, I am? Like, really? Huh. Okay. That's cool. I like it. I'm like, let's do that. What a relief. Because, I was so close to it. I was too close to it. And to get help felt really, really vulnerable because obviously you also need to, they ask you so many questions and da 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 da. But what came back was, oh, what a relief. And really one of the most important points, I think, in how I'm putting my work out there. It may not be like, it forever. That's absolutely fine. But that I I didn't see it. These are the three, you have three pillars of your work and they have three headings and these are the three ways that you engage with people and the three ways there's even a process of how you're stepping deeper and deeper with each one. And I just never saw it like that. It was just this collection of all these different things that I was doing, and it was messy. I knew it was messy. It felt messy. I struggled with my communication. I struggled with where to put information on my website. I struggled with the look and feel on my Instagram. It just looked like a fucking mess. There was no coherence. It was just basically all it was creating a lot of confusion for everybody, for anybody coming to me as well as myself. It's tangible. It's real, like they're real sticky points, and these are the things to look out for. Confusion is the big one. Um, you know,
Mm.
um, and yeah, putting that into order was like really important. And I guess that's also something that maybe we feel a little bit afraid of because, like I said before, then that's the framework. And maybe some part of us feels a bit restricted by it. Okay, now I've got these three pillars and that's it. Like, what if I want to do something else? Where does that go? But actually, the more I work on this and bring strategy thinking into my business, which is, I mean, just not really language that we as facilitators, therapists, teachers normally use. Like, why do I, as a voice coach or Thai massage therapist or, you know, yoga coach, have to use words like business strategy? It's like, ugh. It's not good, It's like, it's really, it is just, ah. Um, and, but this is what we do. We run our own business, right? We run out our own business. And to bring cohesion into it and to bring structure into it and have like a filter against which you make your decisions is so useful. So if I now come up with yet another brilliant idea, because I'm good at coming up with ideas, I have them coming out of my ears, I can have ideas, no end to them. But if they do not match like the filters, if they don't fit into this framework, if they don't fit even like, my, just decision criteria. Does it tick these boxes of what is my top priority? Then it's out. And that is actually a great relief. That's brilliant. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Somebody else can do it. I don't care. And if it doesn't, or I say, no, I'm so passionate about it and it's so important, okay, then you have to start a second business. It has nothing to do with the business that you are, it's so good to have like these decision criteria that you like that you just put every great new idea against. It's like, does this tick the boxes? Yes or no? And if no, go out.
Mm.
So that's part of this rebranding and putting your work out there also. We do not have to keep reinventing ourselves all the time because that leads to even more confusion and burnout for us, I think. You know, at some point we've got to also like, okay, this is what we're going to go with. Um, and I think as practitioners, therapists, teachers, space holders, and so on, we are doing the work because we're really passionate about it. So actually putting these decision filters, these decision criteria in place shouldn't be that difficult because we have strong opinions about stuff. That's why we're doing this work in the first place. We're not doing this work, just because nothing better to do. No, like we're really doing this work because we are truly passionate about this. We have opinions about this. So actually, it should be easy to make that list of criteria. Like, because everything else that doesn't fit this, no thanks. No. So it's really interesting dynamic with this. And it's so much. It's not just about, okay, let's have a photo shoot. It's just not, that's yeah, one thing that's important, but you know. Anyway, I would really love to, Bryony sent me a selection of photos. I would love to share them. They're going to be in my WhatsApp because I couldn't download them, but never mind. So I'm just going to share my WhatsApp, hopefully not with like any messages that I don't want you to see. Let me find this. No, there we go. So, she had a photo shoot in the forest.
That was me doing my own photo.
Oh, that's you doing your own photo.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Great. When was this?
That was last April in Monsanto.
Okay.
Yep. And it was for an Instagram post. One of the like recurring themes is nature, which I
Mhm.
think is pretty, that's always kind of stayed there. But yeah, this was just me trying to get something. I don't know. Yeah, trying to show myself, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we do. That's what we do. Bryony on a rock.
Yeah.
We used this photo. I
Also,
remember we used this photo on the Little Yoga Space website when you first started to teach for the yin
yeah,
classes.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's a far. I don't want to go into like the whole judging the image as such, but it was a photo that I was like, okay, it's a simple yoga position. It's a accessible asana as well. It's a stretch that many people can do. It's not a crazy inversion or back bend because I don't really um, want to. I mean, those photos, those images, of course, are great. But if you are teaching yin yoga, for example, I think you should kind of, show something that is
Hmm.
more yin than yang. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that was the same day. Yeah, that was when I did myself. Actually, those three before ones I sent you, they're all the same day in Monsanto. Yeah, this one as well.
Yeah, we used this one also on the website, I remember.
Yeah,
And then she had a photo shoot. Yeah, two shoots, no?
I did. I had one in the studio first, so in the yoga space, because um, I think I think we even had a conversation. People need to see me and also in the studio. I don't teach. I can teach outside, but my classes are primarily inside. So having indoor photos and outdoor photos. I mean, the outdoor ones are, anything in nature is kind of it's connected into the work as well. But it was really important to have some, in class, in studio, so people can get an idea of what it looks like in the studio, and also, yeah. So for this one, I had a group of students and friends that came along for the photo shoot, because usually I would never take photos of anybody in a somatic practice or in a yoga practice. So I said, okay, I'm doing a mock class. We're going to do 40 minutes of yoga. We're going to do 40 minutes of somatic movement. And this is primarily for photographs for my website. So I invited people along. I did it for free. I didn't charge. And these are people who have come to my workshops before. The girl there with the longer hair, she's actually the girl that helped me with my logo. And the other girl is a dancer that she's come to one of my somatic movement workshops before. So it was really great to have people that I'd worked with and that I knew, and they were comfortable in having the photo taken. So I just said, this is for that. So you are going to be, part of that marketing material. Because yeah, ethically I wouldn't take photos otherwise in a
Yeah.
somatic workshop. So yeah, these are the indoor ones.
And then you had a nature one.
Yeah, so most recently, this was beginning end of March, beginning of April. This is in Sintra. Um, and yeah, so these were for more of the look and feel of the website. So this is I wanted a mixture of movement and yoga. So yeah, you can get the gist really from like the feel of it from those.
Yeah. I mean, I love both of them. I think the nature, in your previous images, you had another photo shoot where you took some pictures in front of like at a beach or something in front of some very large bamboo or something. Um,
Yeah,
I
because
like how
I
it kind of
remember
makes you go like,
showing you.
oh, like,
Yeah,
yes, I
yeah,
remember that. And and that was kind of one of those photos where I thought, okay, but what's that got to do with the class? I'm like, I'm gonna have to get sandy and windy and like in front of some bamboo, and I don't, I. Whereas these nature pictures are a little bit more about your engagement with the nature rather than you doing a pose in nature. That's what I love about
absolutely.
your
Yeah,
current nature pictures. You're engaging with the nature. So
yeah,
it's not you pretending to do like yoga in front of some bamboo. Um, and I mean, I obviously I love the pictures in the studio because for me, that's like, okay, I think, that would be something that I would enjoy because I can get a real sense of what might happen in that class and the
yeah,
environment and the kind of people that come also, even though you kind of staged it, but nonetheless, they are like your people, right? So that those kind of photos for me, I always speak volumes. And if you can arrange a photo shoot inside your work, I think that's always like the most
yeah,
impactful.
absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Well, shall we have a look at your website?
Yes, please. And I'm open. I'm open for feedback as well, guys. So if you have any comments, um, I'm I'm very I'm open to that. And I am a little bit random as a person. I like, there's a few different things here. There's, you know, um, a mixture of kind of earthy colors, in studio pictures. But hopefully you'll get the vibe.
So tell us a little bit about so from Mossa movement,
Yeah,
Forest of Neptune. That is a little bit different.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Okay, so I've been working a lot with my birth chart over the past couple of years, and especially into my, the past couple of years of my 30s and into I'm 41 now, but I would say the past like 2 to 3 years, I've really had a huge shift in um, who I am. And Neptune was a planet that has been very, very intensely connected to my own process. And I'm really into embodied astrology. This isn't a short answer, by the way, this is a long answer. um, the Neptune part. So the Neptune part is if you're looking at Neptune from an embodied perspective and how that relates to the body, it is about this disillusion of layers and different modes of awareness, like shifting of realities. And what I realized was that through embodied movement, we shift our experience, we shift our reality. We can start to dissolve boundaries of um, we might be quite rigid in the here and now, but if we engage in somatic work or if we're having a very deep yoga practice, we can start to shift into a different state of being, a different state of awareness. The forest is important because I mean, I view a forest as a collection of trees. And in this sense, it's the different movement modalities would represent a tree in the forest. So you've got kind of these roots in basically through these different movement modalities, you can access a shifted state of being, of awareness, and it's a little bit dreamy, but it's also very earthy as well, and that's kind of what my the feeling of my work is
Hmm.
about. It is about this connection. It's about keeping very much, in body, but also, um, you could look at it as the subconscious and the conscious, the body and the sky, or this connection with energetic connection with sky and earth, basically. And that comes out through the logo as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like it's just I mean, from not having any website at all to now having this, it's kind of in Forest of Neptune for sure is a little intriguing, but it's
Yeah,
okay. Embodied movement practices, boom, it's in Lisbon and is online. How many websites I look at and I cannot work out where they're based. I'm like, but where are you? Can I even work with you? Turns out they're in Toronto. I'm like, that's just not very helpful. And your navigation is clear and simple. Here are the
yeah,
modalities. Here you can have a look. Here you can get in touch with me, and this is my schedule. Boom.
yeah,
So this is
yeah.
like it's just clear. It's upfront. It's really helpful.
Hmm.
And I mean, you make your choices. Around like obviously all of your colors and stuff. And then you
Hmm.
have your whole story. Me
Yeah.
personally, you might know what I'm going to say. I want this photo at the top, like right at the
Okay.
top. I want this photo to be this photo.
More of a
I
okay.
want this to be like right there. Like I want that to be the first thing I see. And this was for me, I mean, I'm not joking, but my website now has that with like and it's a frontal shot. And I don't like out of all of the photos we took, I'm like, I don't like this photo. And everybody's like, oh, it's an amazing photo of you. I'm like, I had such a round face and I'm really struggling to adjust to having a rounder face now that I'm in my late 40s. I really don't like, and I've got this lazy eye thing going on, and I was whinging, and everybody's like, "What are you like? What lazy eye?" I even showed this photo to photographer friends of mine who didn't take it, but who have taken pictures of me before, and they were like, "It's a beautiful photo. I don't know what you're talking about." That was so hard for me to put like this frontal photograph as and big, on.
Mm,
I think most of you have probably seen my website. So, but that was a big step for me. That was a huge step for me. I mean, as you know, I do feel you, but it is nonetheless what I want to see first.
yeah,
Not even blurred,
yeah,
not behind some kind of background. I want it to
yeah,
be loud and clear.
yeah. And so many people have said this, this has come up before, it's like we want to see who the person is. It's really important, really, really important. And I know I still have yeah, that is really something that's present for me. And it's really interesting because the photographer Alex, he's also a shiatsu practitioner at Little Yoga Space, and we've worked together before. I'm super comfortable with him. But interestingly, a few weeks ago, he messaged me to say, "Hey, can I do an Instagram post on my page with the photos from our shoot?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So he selects some of the images and then makes the post and tags me in them. And I was like, oh no, these ones. These are not the ones that I would have picked. I look tired. I can see the bags under my eyes. My face is puffy because it was the morning, you know. It's like all kinds of things. And then I was like, hang on a minute, Bryony, like really, like you have to get out of your own way here because um this is somebody's work that they want to showcase, and these are your images, and this is you, and this is yeah. If I'm not, I have to be okay with this, you know. That, and also this goes into, you know, finding my place in the Lisbon yoga scene, which I mean, if anybody is familiar with the Lisbon yoga scene, it's pretty saturated with a lot of stuff, and do I know that I do not fit into a certain look or aesthetic, and a lot of this is finding my place. So who am I? What do I represent? And who are my people? Who are the people that want to come to my classes, and why do they want to come? So a lot of it is like, no, this is who I am, and I have to I have to show myself. So yeah, it's huge. It's you know, you feel it. It's like I'm getting
Yeah.
better, slowly, slowly,
Yeah.
day by day.
Yeah. I mean, seeing this picture, for me, knowing the Lisbon yoga scene would make me want to go, oh, yes, finally, somebody a bit different, somebody who's not wearing tone and tone, blending in with the background and, you know, and wearing hot pants and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, instantly, I see this picture, I'm like, whew, like, so nice, so warm, welcoming, open herself, not conforming to this, whatever is the fashion at the moment. I'm
Yeah,
in. Like, and if you want to attract those kind of people that resonate with this, then, you want people to see it.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just super nice. You've got some big statements here. This is also super nice. I think this can also even live further up from my understanding, like what you're
yes,
working with, and could expand on these. Um, because, you know, but yeah,
hmm
testimonials, everybody needs that
yes. This is a
and a
thing
way of
as
getting in touch with
well.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
absolutely.
does all the things. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is pretty simple. It's pretty simple, and and it has got space for growth. I do think that there's room on there for me to continue to add to it. But the most important thing was getting it out there now. I felt like I was at a point where I was really ready to show that. And I think I had to wait until I was really, really ready, you know, and until the time I was
Yeah.
like, no, this needs to be published now. Like, yeah,
Yeah. This is the other
so
thing because, this is something that we need to understand. This is not something that we do once and then we put out. Therefore, it's never going to be perfect. And I'm a great believer of uh, publishing it imperfect because, I mean,
hmm
not in a mess, of course, but for you to get a real, it needs to live and breathe in the real world to also kind of for you to get a sense of, what it is. And then you keep adjusting it, that's fine, but it needs to kind of
yeah,
be out there and come alive so that you can really feel into it. So I always know like press that button, publish it, because otherwise you would like the time never comes when it's perfect,
yeah,
right? We've just got to go for it. Any questions from anybody?
I would like to
Yeah,
share. Wait,
go on. Sorry.
I would just would like sorry to share something because in a talk with an astrologer friend, she did an event, a free event, and it was about taking your place. And what she was saying was that you are already in your place. Not that we need to go and find, but by feeling that we are already in our place, that already helps things because that's everything you achieve until now, that's where you are now. So it's really taking that place where you are just to be there and then just allow things to happen. That's what she passed me. And it really helped me. Um, that advice really helped.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Bill, did you want to say something?
Yeah, it's more like a business question. I was just wondering what kind of, as a platform, do you find that the website or the Instagram is actually providing you more leads in terms of follow-up for the people that are coming into contact with you at the moment? Because I kind of have doubts in terms of the activity or the traction of website nowadays in comparison with Instagram. And I was just wondering what kind of feedback you have. I mean, I know you've just launching, so maybe Catherine, you've got more insight in this one because you had your website for a longer time. But so yeah, that was one of the question more on in terms of the traction. Where do you feel that you've got? I mean, it also depends how you would push into the new media, your website, and their force after that, I guess. But yeah.
I mean, it's a whole new world, right? And I am also of an age where I'm not going to embrace all of this new world anymore, for sure. There are people who run this very successfully without a website, ever having a website. They do this all on WhatsApp, or they all do it on Telegram, or, it's not even on Instagram. And you can do everything. I am a little bit more kind of old school and classic. I want to offer long form. I want to offer more integrity, more insight, more value. So I have a mailing list, So I want to build a warm audience. And for me, Instagram is like where people can check me out without having to risk anything. It's completely risk-free because you don't even have to follow me. You don't have to give me your email address. You can check me out from a very, very, very safe distance.
Mhm.
People do sometimes find out about stuff and contact me through Instagram and then join me and give me money for it. But that's quite rare because ultimately that is a cold audience. So in principle, you're not going to make the sales from Instagram unless you have a following of a significant size, like in the tens of thousands. Then you can convert also from Instagram to, sales. But ultimately, I think where we are at is that we want to, yes, grow Instagram consistently, but and nurture that audience, but ultimately probably feed them into a more personal space. And you can even do ads on that or, whatever coming into either your WhatsApp group or your mailing list or, somewhere where you can have a more direct conversation. And from there, people will maybe then at some point work with you. I think the website does a different job. The website needs to give you detailed, like for the kind of work I do, I have, and this is my approach, and that's based on my business coach. I mean, my pages for every single training I do are very, very long because I believe in giving you full information, full insight, everything you need to possibly know so you can make a safe decision for yourself whether you want to work with me or not. Other people don't care about that sort of stuff, so then they don't need a website. I care a lot about that, right? So for me, the website does a different job. But also, I do have people join my trainings who are specifically Googling or chat GPTing, Thai yoga massage practitioner training, maybe adding Portugal, and then it's the website that matters. So if you do something that people are really looking for specifically, which would be, like help with your low back pain, managing chronic back pain, manage, whatever, I still think the website matters. There will be many experts of a younger generation. I'll tell you the opposite, I'm sure. That it's just, but I don't need to do TikTok, Telegram, Instagram, um, you know, uh, Substack, YouTube. I don't need to do all of them. That's ridiculous. I just got to kind of do one if you want to reach a global audience. If you are the only one, if you live in a village and you are the only massage therapist, excuse my French, fuck Instagram. You don't need it. Like, you put a flyer up at the bakery. End of the story. Whippy doo. I wish that was like my life. Right? So that also so depends on, what you do.
Were you targeting? Yes, no, I agree. I agree. And I think at the end of the day, you're using more Instagram, like we would be in business using LinkedIn, and then you refer to the website for more details and actually captain your audience. But for some of the posting, you would go to that. So I think the merger of the two platform, in some ways, depending on what you are trying to achieve, could be also an answer. But that's, yeah, thanks for that, because that's some question I was asking myself, more from a, I see it always from a product, not selling myself, but selling a product. So I'm more accustomed to do that, but it is slightly different. And the other question I had for Brian is, was any of you were mentioning that you were doing work before. Did you feel at some point that there were any kind of conflict of interest, posting in terms of what you're doing now with the position that you were holding before, if people find both of them, or was it very diverse, so it was no relation from one to the other?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think that the work I was doing in the UK, was a lot more word of mouth, and I used to make it's interesting with the posters. Like I would do like a Facebook event, and then I would do a poster and have physical posters, and that work was really, yeah, it does really hold a special place in my heart. But I really also wanted to leave the UK and move to Lisbon, and I had to kind of start again with a different kind of audience, with a different set of expectations, with a different, just realizing that people do things differently here, like the spontaneity and it's a very transient place. So in the UK, for example, I would have people every week showing up, and I built a community around that. And my urge to leave was kind of overpowering that. I just wanted to live in Europe. But then when I came here, I realized that people don't know, in Lisbon especially, or in Portugal, people don't commit so much in advance to things, and they kind of show up as and when. So it's a bit more difficult, especially as a non-native, to build a community here. Um, but then the way that I am now publicizing my work is different from when I began. So it wasn't so much like a conflict of interests, but it was definitely a change, a fluctuation, yeah, of of how I'm getting my work out there. I've been using Instagram since, I mean, 2014, where it was like for photographers mostly to share really nice pictures, right? So there was no carousels, there was no stories. You would post one photo, and 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 you would end up making connections, with people all over, which still happens. But now I I post my class schedule every week on Instagram. That wasn't a thing before. I don't use TikTok, but yeah, Instagram is the main kind of route in. But I I do believe in physical posters still work in Lisbon, so that is something that I would like to start to do again. I think because that the process of making them as well is quite fun, and having them, physically printed out. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and sometimes I'm a bit like, do I need to keep up? Do I need to learn? Like, what's the most trending? I don't want to make I don't want to start making content that's trending on Instagram to get people into my class. But that thought has crossed my mind. A friend was like, do a day in the life of a somatic practitioner, and post it on your story. And I'm like, no one wants to see me when I wake up in the morning making my coffee. Like, I don't think they do. Like,
You'd be surprised.
that's what she said. She's like, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a continuous learning. Yeah.
I think we should definitely go
Um,
back to the posters and the flyers. I think
yeah.
I'm with
And the
you.
bakery,
Yeah,
right,
In
Catherine?
the bakery, yeah.
in the bakery. Rina, you also have a question? No comment. We can't hear you, I'm afraid.
Oh no.
Now you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you
Yeah.
now.
I mean, I found you, Katrin, because I was looking for a trauma-informed Thai yoga massage. Well, I found you, so I came to your website, and that was like my decision that I knew that was someone important for me, even if she is in Lisbon. I mean, you just said it right now, Bryony. For me, it was the question how, because before you launched now your website and everything, you were already working the three things, right?
Yeah. The two, and then I completed my Reiki training around the same time as publishing the website. So I wanted to get to a point where the website was ready so I could include my most recent offering on there. Yeah. But I was already facilitating, yes, prior
And
to the website.
and how did you get the people? How?
So through my Instagram page, and I'm on the Little Yoga Space website as well as a practitioner. So people can either Google search yoga classes in Lisbon, and then Little Yoga Space comes up, and there's a button where you can select it's like meet the team. You can see everybody who works there, but you can also go onto the schedule of the studio. So interestingly, the majority of my yoga students come through that. But then for my somatic workshops, it's mostly through my Instagram page. So there's these kind of two main routes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like I also I try to ask also, so oh, where did you find out about this? And then they kind of say, oh, I kind of saw you post like something in like Telegram in one of these groups, and I'm like, damn. I mean, kind of one part of me goes like, yeah, kind of actually it does work, and then the other side of me is like, damn, I guess I have to continue doing that then. And, I just kind of want to sort of to have it proven that I don't have to do it anymore, but I guess we do. But yeah, ideally, I guess we all just want to be in that place where we don't have to send out any of these messages and people find us, or, we have that reputation that people are queuing up. And in the interim, we do have to make ourselves visible. And it is a little bit of a process. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone, or thoughts or comments? So, Bryony, what feels different now?
What feels different now is what feels different is that I have a responsibility to if it to to really own my space, and to really continue to feed into what I've put out there, because ultimately we want things to work for ourselves, don't we? We put ourselves out there because we want to be doing the things that we feel are valued and important in the world. So I really, yeah, it what feels different is that I actually feel like, oh, I really created something that is visible and tangible. And even though that was there before, now it's, physically there. Um, but yeah, there is like a deeper sense of responsibility as well, of really, no, this isn't going to happen overnight. I think in my little dream world, I was like, I'll publish my website and then my phone won't stop ringing. No, that didn't happen. Yeah, so I really got to work on that. So yeah, there's a lot actually. There's a lot that feels different.
Great. Anything you would have done differently?
Um,
Maybe it's too soon.
yeah, maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's too soon, but yeah, um, having a strategy. Don't have one. Just being honest. Just being honest. I'm just going with it. I'm doing what I think is right, and realized partway through, and I think it was this winter in Portugal, we had storm after storm after storm, and there was a series of weeks where I didn't get any students at all, and I was working on my website at the same time, and it was like, you know, I, I'd never experienced that before. And I was like, oh shit, this is tough. This is really hard. And I realized that I didn't have a strategy. I'm like, what am I going to do next winter if it's like that? Really think about these things. Like, yeah, huge learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know, do we? We can't forward plan. We don't know what things will look like, but we can have an idea of, what we've learned from. And okay, next winter, I know that, you know, I don't really want to go through that again in terms of, really worrying about not having students. So what can I do differently? Or, do I go outside of Portugal for 2 months of the year and work somewhere else? Do I take my work out? Do I build my online offering? So yeah, really important stuff that.
Yeah. 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 Maybe we should make strategy. We're back at that word. Next month's theme, because yeah, it was definitely also a piece. I can see some thumbs up. Great. Let's do that. Done. Because it's really also, I mean, considering how much work I've already done around business plan, marketing strategies, and launch plans, and point of view, and da 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 da. Da. I was still missing like the fundamental piece of strategy, and that was the kind of thing, like something that I worked on a lot more this year, and it's so important. So, yeah, let's talk more about that.
Sounds good.
Great. Amazing, Bryony. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you for
your
asking.
process with this. And again, congratulations
Thank you.
to launching this whole new phase of your work, really. Can't wait to see what else there is to come. So very exciting. And I get to
Thank
witness it
you.
because obviously you're also doing a lot of that at the studio. So
Hmm.
I always love seeing people bringing new things. So amazing. Everybody else, couple of announcements. A reminder, Tuesday is Ideas Lab, new format. You can send me your stuff. You can put stuff into the WhatsApp group, whichever way you want, and you'll get a voice note from me if there is anything that you're working on. And also, around Tuesday, Wednesday. Also, I am hoping to have registration open exclusively for you all here for the in-person gathering in Sintra in July. And I'll give you a few days ahead of everybody else to snatch up those tickets. It will be on, I can tell you already, it will be on the 25th and the 26th of July in Sintra. And I would love, love, love to see some of you there to connect in person. So that is in the process of being announced. I am very excited about all of the guest speakers that we're going to have, and the program is shaping up beautifully. So yeah, that is coming out next week, and you will have first dibs on those tickets in case anybody was thinking about coming. Anyway, so I am excited on that front. For now, I guess everybody have a wonderful evening and a really good weekend. And see you all
Thank
very
you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Thank
Bryony.
you, everyone.
Bryony,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kelly.
everyone.
Thanks, Bryony, for your time here. And Bryony is also joining us in the membership. So hopefully we'll be involved in a lot more of these
Oh,
conversations.
great.
Yeah.
I'm following you, Bryony.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening. It was really
Take care,
lovely to chat.
everyone.
Bye.
Good. Bye.